guys, welcome to a new episode of Final Thoughts, which is the series that I put out on a monthly basis that goes over the games that I completed throughout that month. For some strange reason, I actually completed a few video games throughout the month of April, so let's get started. So the first game I'm going to talk about is actually in digital format. It's only available on the Nintendo 3DS eShop. It's Tat Pingo. It's a puzzle game with some similarities to another puzzle game that I love, P-Cross, but it's kind of hard to explain. The whole objective of Tat Pingo is to make pixel art pictures, and in order to do this, you need to actually extend blocks to make lines. I know it sounds simple, but some of the puzzles are a little challenging. You'll start off with a grid, and within the grid you'll have blocks, and some of these blocks will have numbers on them, and those numbers indicate how many blocks you need in order to make a line. Like I said, it sounds simple, but I kind of was racking my brain for some of these puzzles. I had a good time with the game. It actually served as like a palate cleanser for me because I found myself picking it up for a couple of minutes while I was in between a game or, before I went to bed. There's over 100 puzzles in the game, and the music's kind of cool. I actually like the music. It was really nice to listen to. I think it's currently on sale on the 3DS eShop, so if you're into puzzle games like P-Cross, you might want to look into it. In the beginning of April, I actually ended up completing Professor Layton and the Azran Legacy for the Nintendo 3DS. And I was really sad about that. You guys know I love Professor Layton. That series is awesome. And this is supposed to be the last Layton game, which makes me sad. But after completing the game, just the way it ended, I have a feeling that it just might not be the last one. Maybe it's the last one with Professor Layton. I feel like maybe Luke will take Layton's place, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about that because honestly Luke gets under my skin a little bit. I find him to be a little annoying, but nevertheless I finished the game and I ended up really liking it. Azran Legacy basically plays out like every other Professor Layton game out there. There were some minor differences. It's basically just an adventure game, a point-and-click adventure game with a heavy emphasis on solving puzzles. This one went about things a little different though. They kind of switched things up. There was a little bit of action, which was quite surprising. You never really get action in Layton games, but Azran Legacy definitely had some action in it. And there were a bunch of twists and turns. The story was awesome. It was a great ending to the series. As always, the presentation's beautiful, graphics amazing, music great. I always love the music in the Professor Layton games. The puzzles though, my goodness, I'm not even gonna lie, and I'm not even ashamed to admit this, but I had to look up some of the answers online just because some of the puzzles were really hard to figure out, and I didn't want to use all my hint coins up, but wow, some of the puzzles couldn't wrap my head around. I really couldn't get them. Overall, I'm pleased with the series. I'm pleased with the way that it ended. Now, all I want to do is play that Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright game. Come on, Nintendo of America, bring it over here already. For the Xbox One, I actually ended up completing Trials Fusion, which isn't my favorite Trials game, but despite all of that, I actually did end up having a lot of fun with it. For those of you that aren't aware with the Trials series, it's basically a motocross platforming game that tends to get difficult. I didn't find this one to be as difficult as previous Trials games. Granted, I didn't get gold medals in all of the different tiers that are available in the game, but I wasn't as frustrated with it. Now, Fusion actually brings in some trick mechanics, and I thought I was really going to be into the trick mechanic stuff, but I didn't like it at all. The physics were just a little bit too loose, and the racer just seemed to end up in these weird positions. Nothing ever really seemed to work the way that I wanted it to work. But despite all of that, I had a lot of fun with it, especially the leaderboard stuff. Just being able to see what my friends on the Xbox One, what their times were on different courses, trying to beat that definitely motivated me to keep completing these tracks and trying to get, ahead of the game and hit first place. One thing that disappointed me with Trials Fusion was the fact that the game was released without it technically being completed, or at least the whole package wasn't complete, because there's no online multiplayer, which sucks. I mean, that's what I loved about the last Trials game on the Xbox 360. I loved being able to race against people all over the world. Multiplayer hasn't come out on this game yet, and they're supposed to be patching it in sometime really soon, but I kind of wish it was there from the beginning. Lego The Hobbit is another game I completed in April, and this one was a surprise. Like, I wasn't expecting to enjoy this game as much as I did. Honestly, I wasn't. And it's kind of special to me too. I mean, I don't want to say it's special to me because it's really not special, but I had a lot of fun with it because it was the first game that I said that I wanted to stream online over Twitch. I wanted to complete the whole game over Twitch. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I had a lot of fun in the process. I almost completed this whole game on Twitch, not in one sitting, of course, throughout a course of days. And I had a lot of fun with it. The last 2 levels I actually completed on my own because I wanted to get the game over with. But it was a lot of fun streaming this game on Twitch. Surprisingly, it was kind of popular. A few of my Twitch sessions while I was playing Lego The Hobbit, I had over 100 people in it, which was really weird. But it's a fun game. I want to know, those of you that keep up with the Lego games, when did Lego games start getting kind of complicated? I mean, this game is a little complicated.
I think you'll be coming.
It's not like the other Lego games, like Lego Star Wars, where you have this hub area and you can go and talk to someone and go in, or go up to a painting and enter, you know, the new episode. It's not like that by any means. You're actually traveling around, going to there, you know, the game has these little boats that show you where you need to go, and of course there's a mini map, but you're going to the levels. You're actually making, you know, your journey, which I thought was really cool. Also, the game has, like, you have to craft things, which is really weird, but you'll be doing some crafting here. You'll, of course, collect Lego pieces throughout the game, like you usually do, in your nuts and bolts. But you'll also, when you break things, you might get gold, you might get chicken, fish, and you'll need those things to actually make things to progress in the game, which I really wasn't expecting. Plus, there's a ton of things to do in this game. There's side quests, there's people just standing out on the unbeaten road looking for things, or they need your help, and you can totally do those quests. I only completed the game. I haven't gone back to do any of the side quest stuff, and I certainly will because I had a blast with the game. I know a lot of people don't really get into the Lego games. They kind of feel like they're cash cows, which rightfully so, they just might be, but they're a good time. They honestly are. And I love The Hobbit. I'm so excited for the 3rd movie to come out. This game, though, little skeptical about, because this game actually only has the first 2 movies in it. Now, usually when you get a Lego game that's based off of a movie, a series, you'll get all of the movies combined into one. They did that with the Harry Potters. They did that with the Indiana Jones. This one, no, not that easy. The first and the second movie is included here. And then when the 3rd movie comes out, I think at the end of the year or something like that, they are going to have DLC for that last episode. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm a sucker. I'm probably going to end up buying it, but I don't know if that's right. I don't know. Last but not least, got a big one here. For the PlayStation 4, I completed Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and I enjoyed it. I'm into the Assassin's Creed series. I honestly, truly am. And I thought Black Flag was a spectacular game. I really did. I love the new character, Edward. He's awesome. Edward Kenway. I think he's great. Of course, this game kind of reminded me of Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, he's a pirate and he's kind of grimy. And you can recruit pirates. You can recruit people while you're out to sea. You know, they can come join your crew. The naval battles are a blast. At first, I was getting a little frustrated with it because I wasn't quite sure how to go about things, because you'll be out to sea and there'll be other boats and you can choose to get into a battle with them, and it seemed like in the beginning of the game I was always getting crushed, but then I got resources and I had so much fun, you know, allocating those resources to upgrade my ship. The story in Black Flag I thought was really good. I loved the ending of the game. The ending was spectacular. But with all of that being said, of course, it's amazing. It looks beautiful. The water is great in the game. Sometimes you'll come across, while you're out to sea, you'll come across these huge waves because a storm is coming. It just looks beautiful. But with all that being said, I will say I was quite overwhelmed with the content in Black Flag. Wow, there is just so much to do. You know, my goodness, you'll have these underwater missions where you basically swim underwater and you have to avoid sharks, or you're picking up certain items, you know, in order to complete that. There are a ton of locations to visit. Of course, you can go out there and hunt. My goodness, there's different forts that you can overtake. Of course, you have the side missions within each location. Wow, this game is chock full of content, which is great. But for someone like me, I love open world games, don't get me wrong, but I just felt I was just a little too overwhelmed. So I had to put it down. I did majority of the things, but then I stopped because I was like, okay, I kind of want to see where the ending is going. Also, there's that DLC, that standalone DLC, I think it's called Freedom Cry, which I want to get around to playing because I heard that was spectacular as well. So the Assassin's Creed series is definitely making strides in the right direction. It's another game that comes out on a yearly basis, but I don't mind it because I'm into the series. I thought the controls worked really well. I don't know, especially the parkour stuff, it seemed to flow together a lot better than what it has in previous games. So you can tell they worked on that more. But if you're someone that really doesn't like the Assassin's Creed games, you know, and you're looking to possibly try, you know, one of the games out, I definitely would point you in Black Flag's direction because it doesn't really feel like all of the other Assassin's Creed games. And like I said, main character, he's a badass. So those are all the games that I completed in April. What games have you guys recently completed? Please let me know. Or if you have any comments on the games that I just talked about, leave them below. I want to thank all of you guys for watching this video, and I'll check you next time.